Welcome back. There's a puja happening for Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. There's another puja happening for BSP leader Mayawati. Both asking God, both seeking divine intervention. Of course, Manmohan Singh to win, Mayawati trying to get into his place. She sees herself as the next Prime Minister of India. But in all this, where is Lal Krishna Advani and his BJP? The role of the opposition, has the role of the opposition now been assumed, the mantle been taken over by Mayawati? Has Advani been left out? Mr. Ganesh, what do the stars say about Lal Krishna Advani?
No, the stars are good for him, except that his transit presently is not favoring him very much. So the better period of Mr. Advani is gone by. So he's not having enough power to sustain the prime ministership race which is being contemplated right now. So what we can say is, though he has got a good position, it could be after September 2009 he could have a better period coming for taking a place in the government.
Right, so his best period is gone. He now has to probably wait. Anupam, let me ask you about Sonia Gandhi. She was smiling a lot today when her son made this speech, when he made a very passionate speech about how the country needs energy security. What do the stars say about Sonia Gandhi?
Yeah, Sonia Gandhi's stars are very good because 9th December 1946, she's a fate number 9 and that gives a lot of aggression, and she's got a destiny number of 5 which is ruled by Mercury, and she's quite skillful in doing the things. Her personal year vibration in next year in 2009 is going to be 5, which is going to also favor her for the next elections. And there's reason to smile because Rahul Gandhi is shaping up well, and Mayawati is also, see, there is a slight controversy about the date of birth of Mayawati, which many astrologers, we are seeing a lot of horoscopes floating around. I have based my calculations on, I've seen both the horoscopes. One is the one born on the 15th and one is the one born on 28th. By both it is seen that Mayawati is going to emerge as a powerful leader, but not for the moment now. She'll have to wait for some more time. And as far as Sonia Gandhi is concerned, yes, Manmohan Singh will be her man Friday, and I see Manmohan Singh getting through this vote of confidence, except that there could be some problems to his health as his Venus, as his Ketu is afflicting his Venus right now, and Moon and Ketu are also in his 8th house.
Anupam Kapil and S. Ganesh, thank you very much for joining us. This, of course, would be very heartening for the Prime Minister, for the UPA, for the Congress Party. They seem to be just about scraping through. They will make it. That's what your stars are saying. That's what numbers seem to indicate. But, of course, we shall know that later tonight. It's now over to my colleague. Of course, I'll join Gaurav Gala. And let's now see what's happening on the floor of the House. Gala.
All right. Thanks a lot, Gaurav Sawant. Of course, when we left you to take divine intervention, we had Lalu Prasad Yadav speaking in the parliament. He's still speaking. So let's go across back to the parliament and see what Lalu is saying.
I rise to oppose the motion.
शांत हो जाइए, शांत. Please, 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 शांत हो जाइए. Quiet, please. Silence, silence, silence. Yes.
Sir, I rise to oppose the confidence motion.
You have 15 minutes. 14 minutes आपका है, 15 minutes. 15 minutes है.
20 minutes.
ठीक है, शुरू कीजिए.
Let me. Sir, yesterday, leader of the House, Sri Pranab Mukherjee.
Silence, please. Please go out silently. Honorable member is speaking. Yes.
He has not given a correct figure. What he said, sir.
Silence, silence.
The day left parties withdrew support that day.
Silence.
रेलिवेंट पार्ट को मैं पढ़ता हूं. ये क्या बीजेपी के माननीय सदस्यों को, ठीक है आराम गोपाल जी ने, कि जब कोई सरकार जाती है तो जो मंत्रिमंडल रहता, केयरटेकर रहता, आप लोग आउट होइएगा। सो बात यह नहीं है, लेकिन इसको समझना पड़ेगा, जवाब देना पड़ेगा। तालवोट जसवंत विजिबली टेकन अबैक Sunday, Vehman insisted that Vajpayee had made an irreversible decision, माने इसको पीछे हट नहीं सकने वाला डिसीजन वाजपेयी जी ले चुके हैं, और कब और कहां इसका अनाउंसमेंट हो। नॉट ओनली जसवंत सिन्हा, यूएनओ में जाके वाजपेयी जी का ऑन रिकॉर्ड भाषण है कि सीटीबीटी पर दस्तखत करना है। कम्प्रहेंसिव। कहां फंसे हुए हैं जौहर साहब? जौहर साहब, आप मुख्य दर्शक हैं। आपने हमको समाजवाद का पाठ पढ़ाया था, मुलायम सिंह को पढ़ाया था। आप कहां बैठ के टुकुर टुकुर देख रहे हैं? ये है सीटीबीटी।
All right, so that was, of course, Lalu Prasad a short while ago in Parliament in his own inimitable style. He had the parliamentarians in splits at times. The hostility was forgotten for a short while, but Lalu Prasad, in the middle of all of that, managed to get his points through. He also made certain points, said that he has good relations with Mayawati as well, and that he also has prime ministerial aspirations.
But a very important point that Lalu Prasad Yadav made today was the fact that parliamentarians are not being taken very seriously. People are making fun of them. The parliamentarians, members of parliament, don't know about the Hyde Act 123 agreement, and they're just fighting about issues that are not very serious. And this perhaps shows very poorly on our polity today. Paranjoy, welcome on our show.
Yes and no. You know, Lalu Prasad Yadav is the one politician in India who knows how to use humor and wit to absolutely devastating impact. He is arguably one of the most entertaining politicians that exist, not only in India, in the world, I'll say. But, you know, behind that buffoonish exterior of Lalu Prasad Yadav, he's always making a point. And people, whether you like it, he makes you laugh. But at the end of it all, you can't take him lightly, because he is making political points even as he laughs. And he has the ability to laugh at himself, so others laugh with him. So he says, all of us want to be prime ministers, not just Mayawati. Even I want to be prime minister, but I'm not in such a great hurry. So this is, I think, an amazing quality that Lalu has. And the other thing you'll notice about him, you know, he says, okay, I have CBI cases against him. I'm not complaining. He has this ability to take people along with him, because that's a very, very important quality you need in today's day and age of coalition politics. You know, yesterday's friends can be tomorrow's enemies.
Right.
And day after's friends all over again.
Yeah.
Paranjoy, yesterday we were talking a little bit about the body language of Lal Krishna Advani when he made his speech after Dr. Manmohan Singh. Today we've seen Rahul Gandhi. Today we've seen Lalu Prasad as well. Somewhere down the line, this fight of the body language, fight of the debate that we're really seeing over the last couple of days, somewhere down the line, the UPA winning it, you think?
You know, at this point of time, that's what it appears. That the UPA appears more confident that they're going to make it. But I personally, this is my personal opinion, there's a lot of bravado involved. You know, nobody would like to concede that they're losing. We won't really know until the vote happens. My own view is that it's still going to be fairly, I mean, it's going to be a very tight contest. And I mean, even if the government wins a vote of confidence, I don't expect it to win by a huge margin.
And how desperate is the situation? Let's now take a look at it. Let's show you visuals of what's happening. Members of parliament who are unwell, they're on stretchers, they're in wheelchairs, and yet they're coming to parliament in wheelchairs. Take a look at this visual.
Yes, this is of course Mahesh Kanodia, the BJP MP from Patan. Doctors have advised him that he should not travel, but he's coming all the way from Mumbai just to participate. Dharmender had earlier also landed in the capital.
जो पानी खींचा गया था, लंग्स में पानी आ गया था। हमारी सरकार आ जाएगी। यानी हमने सोची थी इतनी नहीं आई, फिर भी 14 आई है हमारी सीटें। विपक्ष में बैठने का जी हाँ, नया पा रहे हैं। हमारी सरकार आ जाएगी इसके लिए। एक्चुअली जो पानी खींचा गया था, लंग्स में पानी आ गया था।
So this is how desperate the situation is at this point of time. Dharmendra was in Los Angeles. He just underwent a knee operation. He was, he's been brought back. There are the planes being chartered to bring people back.
And it's not just Kanodia, it's Mahesh. It's your Chavan in Maligaon in Maharashtra. The fellow was complaining that after my accident, nobody came to see me for a month. Now they're flying me down.
In a special charter plane.
Tens of lakhs of rupees. Correct.
But despite the fact that, Paranjoy, that we're seeing desperate measures, MPs, sick MPs, indisposed MPs flying in from all over the country, even some from outside the country as well, yet from yesterday, the numbers that were being projected, 266 in favor of the government, that seems to have gone a little higher now. And it seems that overnight, hectic parleying by the UPA, now they seem a little more confident, as we were talking a short while ago.
Undoubtedly, they are far more confident than they were yesterday. But how much of this confidence is bravado? We'll only know when the votes are cast. Because if you go back once again to April 1999, there were many people who said they would vote in one direction, voted in the other direction. Many people who said they'd vote, who abstained. Many people who said they would show up didn't show up. Until those people actually arrive on the floor of the Lok Sabha and vote, very honestly.
Or not arrive.
Or not arrive, correct. It's going to be a close call. And I wouldn't like to guess it. Yes, it appears what you're saying is correct. It's not your channel. All the channels are saying, okay, the scales are tilted slightly in favor of the UPA government.
But just about.
Just about.
And
That's
Vajpayee
correct.
lost by one vote in April
That's
99.
correct. So you're really talking about a handful of members of parliament who could make all the difference.
And this is which brings us to another very sad part, maybe even sickening. At this point of time, Amar Singh says, I have 41 members of parliament I will give to the UPA. Mayawati says my members of parliament are being taken away by SP. They're literally locking up members of parliaments in five-star hotels. I mean,
all the allegations out in the open. We heard Amar Singh say that 6 MPs have been abducted, kidnapped.
Yeah.
We had the speaker saying 6 MPs yesterday had applied for leave of absence. Allegations are flying thick and fast. Whether or not there's truth in these allegations, take the member of parliament from Karnal, the Congress MP. He was
Arvind Sharma.
Arvind Sharma was here today, there tomorrow, back again, here today, back again, there tomorrow. So the point I'm making is we won't really know. I mean, they've already demonstrated by their actions that they cannot be trusted. And if they cannot be trusted, your guess is as good as mine.
And these are the people who are actually running our country. These are the people who are deciding where we go.
Look, one second. I don't get too cynical.
No, but there is, yes, let's not get too cynical, because there is someone we can look up to. Maybe there is some hope. There is Rahul Gandhi, who was there earlier this morning. And what was Rahul Gandhi talking about? Let's hear him out.
Yes, please go.
I will go to the house of Kalavati. I'm glad you find that funny, but Kalavati is I'm glad you find it funny, but Kalavati is a person whose husband committed suicide. So I would urge you to respect her. I will take you to the house of Kalavati, which I also visited 3 days ago. And Kalavati is a woman with 9 children whose husband committed suicide 3 years ago. Kalavati's husband committed suicide because he was dependent on only one crop, the cotton crop. And when I asked Kalavati, why did your husband commit suicide? Her answer was that she was dependent only on one source of income. I asked Kalavati, I decided, as I said, that I would not speak as the member of a political party, but I would speak as an Indian. I would take a step that a lot of us politicians don't normally do. I decided that I would make a central assumption in my speech. And the assumption is that everybody in this room, regardless of which party they come from, whether they come from the BJP or the Shiv Sena or the Samajwadi or the BSP or the Congress party, all speak in the interest of this nation. Because there is a serious problem in India. And the problem is our energy security. This problem of energy security reflects itself every day with all of us. It reflects itself among the poor in the house of Sasikala. It reflects itself with industry. It reflects itself among all Indians. I'm very proud to say that our Prime Minister, Shri Manmohan Singh Ji, has recognized both the problem and a potential solution. But it would be unfair of me not to accept that Shri Vajpayee also saw the problem and also in his time worked on the solution. ताली तो मार दीजिए इसके बारे में. What is important is that we stop worrying about how the world will impact us. We stop being scared about how the world will impact us, and we step out and worry about how we will impact the world.
Rahul Gandhi there, an impassioned plea almost there in Parliament after his earlier speech was, of course, disturbed. Parunjoy, slightly idealistic. Do you think the kind of debate we've been having so far has time for something like this?
He's clearly appealing to the youth. And he says he's no longer young. I mean, he is above the average age of this country. More than 2/3 of the population is below the age of 30. So he's clearly appealing at this section. And I think he's looking at himself as a long distance runner. I mean, I don't think everybody's so sure that, you know, the Congress will ditch Manmohan Singh and says, okay, Rahul Gandhi for Prime Minister kind of thing. He knows it's not going to happen as simply as that. He's got to make his mark in politics. And, you know, you can't compare him to his father, to his grandmother. Life has changed. The world has changed. India has changed. But what he's clearly trying to look at, he's looking at the youth as his constituency. And he's trying to say, okay, my father was criticized for information technology, but it's for the poor. We are being criticized for nuclear energy, but it's for the poor. Whether this line will work, only time will tell. But
is this more about energy security that he's talking about, or is this actually politics that they're all talking about?
Of course it's politics.
And not so much energy security anyways.
You must remember that Pranab Mukherjee, in his otherwise well-argued point-by-point rebuttal of what Advani and the opposition has been saying, he never disputed the fact that nuclear energy accounts for 3% of the total electricity produced in this country or consumed in this country at this juncture. And even after the nuclear deal, a best case scenario you have is that 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, you will have maybe 6% or 7%. Mr. Chidambaram kept talking about the money that China is putting into nuclear energy. But the big issue, I mean, the point is, you might say this is about nuclear energy. Sonia Gandhi will say that thanks to this deal, you know, you're lighting up everybody's homes. But no, this is less about energy security. I'd go further and say it's less about the deal itself. Yes, it's about the engagement with America, but believe me, in the elections and the time to come, what will matter much more than all of this is the price of food. And that is going to be the issue that concerns large numbers of people.
So what you're saying is rather than 1, 2, 3, it's 12.3%.
That's correct. That's correct.
Unfortunately, that is not what our parliamentarians are talking about right now.
No, I don't agree with you there. It's been brought in all the time. Chidambaram kept talking about what the government has done for agriculture.
But nothing's being done on ground that will affect you and me.
Precisely. No, so time will tell. And you must remember that even Mayawati has taken this up. You know, what is significant is when she announced a press conference yesterday, it was at the same time that Advani was speaking in Parliament. And what was she talking about? She was talking about a likely attack on Iran. Iran gas pipeline. Very interesting. This is a new politician emerging. You know, everybody had written off the third front in politics. Now you wonder, even the BJP is a little jittery. And the question is, conspiracy theories. Will the BJP now, you know, in order to prevent the third front or the third first moving, actually indirectly support the government? Really, you know, all these conspiracy theories will continue to do the rounds. It's a matter of a few hours.
And then
once the voting takes place, then you'll really know.
Yeah.
But
thank you very much.
I still think it's going to be a close contest. That's all.
Yes, it's going to be touch and go. Nobody can afford to take this lightly, and that's why we see those visuals of members of parliament coming in wheelchairs on stretchers. Well, Parunjoy, thank you very much for joining us. We split into a quick break. We'll be back with much more. Stay with Headlines Today.
Thanks very much.
ना 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 दिल मेरा है बड़ा आशिकाना आज आजा मेरी जाने जान वाई 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 da 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 let's do the da 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 let's do the da 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 let's do the da 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 da
दिल खो गया हो गया किसी का अब रास्ता मिल गया खुशी का रिश्ता नया रब्बा दिल छू रहा है खींचे मुझे कोई डोर तेरी ओर तेरी ओर तेरी ओर तेरी ओर हाय रब्बा तेरी ओर
Baby, when you see me coming, yeah, you better run for cover. Cause you know when I find you, yeah, I'm gonna be your lover.
बचना ऐ हसीनो लो मैं आ गया
It's not happening. Let's go back.
Let's wait and watch.
How was that?
It was magic.
Zing up life with Radico's Magic Moments music CDs.
Beating the best involves more than just hard racing. The new Apache RTR 160 Fi with rear disc brakes. The fast just got faster.
कहीं ना लागे मन क्या है ये सुनापन आहा हर घड़ी अब ख्यालों में कह रहा है कोई मैंने न जाना
दीदी लक्ष्मी दीदी कंपाउंड में नींबू का देख के इतना डर क्यों गई थी? लक्ष्मी दीदी हर किसी से डरती है। वैसे ऐसा क्या है स्टूपिड से नींबू में?
Welcome back to Headlines today. Now let's listen into what Priyanka Gandhi has had to say regarding, of course, debate raging in the parliament. Her brother Rahul was speaking in parliament a short while ago. What does Priyanka have to say? Let's listen in.
Namaskar. Rahulji, one small soundbite. Sir, wait and see. Sir.
आगे नहीं आओ आप तो बताओ ना आप ही आ जाओगे तो थैंक यू
I thought you spoke very well.
Are you upset with the way the house functioned? Because I mean, everybody is quite appalled in the moment. Aren't you appalled by the way? Aren't you appalled by the way you know the proceedings have gone in Parliament?
But I think we're doing pretty okay in this.
Prince, the way the house functioned. Everybody is quite appalled in the moment. Aren't you appalled by the way? Aren't you appalled by the way you know the proceedings have gone in Parliament?
But I think we're doing pretty okay in this.
And do you want to say something about the government about? Huh?
Thank you.
So Priyanka Gandhi there in Parliament, her brother spoke rather well. He spoke from the heart today. But will it have any impact on the Ayaram, Gayarams? Will any of this have an impact, or it's only the suitcases that everybody talks about? Will that have a bigger impact?
I think most parties have decided their positions. And I doubt whether any speech in Parliament has been that good. You know, you had some good speeches by Finance Minister Chidambaram, by Rahul Gandhi. Yesterday, Mr. Advani was quite articulate in his position, and the robust, rustic speech of Lalu. But I don't think speeches, just like in matches, you don't get wides and extras and win the match. I don't think speeches are going to win the match. Catches may win the match, and here the catch is really getting a few MPs who are on the undecided or on the other side.
Right. Shankar, everyone has been talking about overnight, of course, that Mayawati might yet still pull a bunny out of the hat as far as the trust vote is concerned. Today, we saw BSP MPs parading a letter around saying that the CBI is on our tail, and as a result, we are being pressurized not to vote in fact for the UPA because of the CBI's pressure.
Well, you know, they made the charge and the papers have been tabled in the House. The Speaker has taken cognizance of it. And I think this is part of the political landscape when we see now is that there are too many parties, fractured mandates, and a sense of desperation because none of the political parties really feel that they can face the electorate without the alliances and everything, because to have the confidence of facing the electorate, right, you have to have nursed your constituency like, say, Sharad Pawar has nursed his constituency, you know, and that's the kind of dedication, effort, coordination that MPs need to make, and maybe not all of them can make it because, I mean, it's a tough job.
And hence the desperation that we're now seeing in Parliament. On that note, we're going to head in for a very short break here on the Bulletin. Lots more coming up, lots more number crunching, who's saying what, who's speaking in Parliament, all of those details when we come back.
Oh my God.
दांत खाज। तू मेरा टॉवल मत यूज कर यार। तेरा दोस्त हो ना? दोस्ती तुझसे, तेरे दांत खाज से नहीं।
Vitex Super दांत खाज। खलास।
Hey, take my towel.
Vitex Super दांत खाज। खलास।
Enjoy your topic, boy.
Best movie.
Imran Khan was so hot. He's so cute.
Nice screenplay. Imran Khan was fantastic.
Pappu kind and pala. Hey, hey, hey. You guys really love you.
Tomb of the Dragon Emperor and his army.
He has slept for 2,000 years. Now he will rise to take his revenge.
Sorry, pal! There's a mummy on the loose!
This summer, adventure will live again.
Hey, mummies! They never play fair!
Brendan Fraser. Jet Li. The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
इंडिया में कोई मानता ही नहीं कि कुछ हुआ है जब तक विकास सागर न्यूज ना
अबू नाजिर इंटरनेशनल टेररिज्म का सबसे खतरनाक
ये अबू नजीर का पैगाम है फतेह हमारी होगी
किसी रिपोर्टर ने अल जोहरा छोड़ना चाहा है वो दुनिया छोड़ दे
TV Today network. And you're watching Headlines Today. Refreshingly different.
Headcount begins to favour UPA as more and more fence-sitters make up their mind. It looks like the government might just break through.
The Bharatiya Janata Party receives support from unexpected quarters. Rahul Gandhi praises former Prime Minister Vajpayee, emphasizes India's energy needs.
Railway Minister Lalu Prasad steals attention once again, slams the BJP, the left, in his typical witty style.
Earlier, Lok Sabha was adjourned at noon after BJP levelled serious charges of horse trading. Takes it straight to the Prime Minister's doorsteps.
And outside Parliament, Amar Singh claims victory riding on the support of two BSP MPs in addition to its 39 members in the House.